And welcome back to the 2024 Transatlantic Cup, coming to you live from Colonel Samuel Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario. Beautiful day for footy, beautiful day for the final Team Canada game as the men wrapping up their schedule. Women just wrapped up with a win over Colombia. Now the men's turn to take on Colombia. I'm Patrick McNeil. I am joined alongside David Smith. One final time for us to call the team in red. Looking forward to this. Team Canada looking to finish this tournament on a winning note. David, could be a bit of attrition involved. I understand short benches on both sides ahead of this game.
As I understand it, could be just one or two players on the bench for both sides. So there's actually some discussion of shortening the game, shortening the number of players on the field, but we're going with the full complement here today.
Yes, and let's take a look at the key players for the game. David, who do you have today?
We have Ian Euler of the Halifax Dockers. He's played wing and has been really good getting the ball in this one. And Brian Cerna, the Fly, is our key player to watch for Colombia. He's a quick one, so he's one to watch.
Yeah. And now let's take a look at the keys to today's game, and that is courtesy of eThere Live. Canada does not want to take Colombia lightly. Both of these teams looking for their first win of the tournament. Want to keep up the work rate, keep pushing the pace, look to the future. We saw this with the women. We talked about Lacey Bellefontaine in that fourth quarter. Of course, we're just talking about Ian Euler as well. And for Colombia, they want to set a target. What is the goal here? What is the goal if they can't get a victory over Canada? Want to have some good ball control, clean passing, no half-hearted efforts. You want to leave it all on the table. It's their final chance here, final chance to get a win. Same for Canada. Let's go and have some good games of footy again. Those keys to the game brought to you there by eThere Live.
Absolutely. Both teams looking to finish strong after a tournament that certainly hasn't gone their way. Certainly Canada had some high hopes going into this tournament, but they have been winless so far, looking to finish strong. Beautiful day here at in Etobicoke. The sun is out, and we're just about ready to get going here.
Indeed, and of course, if you look at the Vision Glass Toronto standings, they are GTA's exotic car experts, specializing in auto glass, convertible tops, and sunroofs. That would tell you that neither of these teams were able to get a win in the round-robin fifth-place game or the semifinal matchup. So both teams looking for the first win. Someone's going to go out on a winning note today. We look to see who that is going to be. Canada is in red, kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca, and Colombia is in yellow. They will kick towards Toronto as the umpire has the ball at the center of the field. We are getting ready for the final Canadian game of the tournament. We are getting ready for David Smith to take us away.
We're just about ready to get the first quarter underway. Just waiting for the horn to go. As we've said, these two, here we go. So we're just about ready to go. Ball's up, and here we go. Moaning in the rock for Canada, picked up by Colombia, kicked towards their forward 50, bouncing off the ground. There's a little toe poke. He picks it up for Colombia, but the whistle goes, and this will be holding a free kick for Colombia. So a quick chance here, Colombia in their forward 50. Kick, high kick. Players under the ball. Two Canadian players basically fight over it, and that's an intercept mark. And this will be cleared out. Kick towards the boundary, and that goes over. And this will be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, nice mark there moments ago by Stephen Walker. He's been a fun player to watch for Team Canada. And, of course, you might, if you've been watching the whole tournament, you might be kind of second-guessing yourself because it is the last game. The teams, in particular Team Canada, as we like to say, moving the magnets around. So you're going to see some of these guys play at a position, have an opportunity to go into a different role. As the Colombian feet are on the ball, that's a kick towards the goal into the 50-meter territory. Hands are up. That's Greg Bridges. He's got his paws on the ball. He'll punch it forward. And the Colombians with some good pressure here to start this contest. Handball out the back. Nice smother there by the Canadian player. Canada trying to get on the counterattack. You see Ian Euler, boy, he's been turning heads this tournament. Out of the Halifax Dockers. Ball pushed along the left side. Contest is on. As Mickey Burke was involved in that, man, they called Daisy plays for the Edmonton Wombats. Ball bouncing along into the 50-meter area, 450 for Canada as the ball comes back away in the midfield. The Canada Seagulls have returned. They're flying around the pitch here today. Ball dribbling along the ground as a good ball protection there by Colombia. Handball on the turf as a quick pace to this contest here as Jeffrey Vidal had the ball, and we get a whistle. I think that was a throw, David, so we'll get a free kick to Canada.
So free kick here in midfield as the wind picks up. Quite windy day here at Humber College. There's a nice spoil by the Colombian player going towards the visitmississauga.ca end, which is where Canada wants it. Ball on the ground, trying to break the tackle. Colombia with a handball. Here's another one. Succession of handballs here by Colombia, doing really well here in the midfield. Beautiful footy here. That one goes a little bit awry. And still keeping possession is Colombia. Here's a high kick towards the hot spot, but that's off Canadian hands, and this should be cleared by Canada, though that's not marked. Colombia trying to get the ball, gets rid of it. Ball on the ground and picked up by Bridges and kicked towards midfield on the wing. Going towards the boundary, will it stay in? It does. Picked up by Colombia. Kicked towards the 50-meter arc. It's off some hands. And Canada will try to clear off Bridges.
Yeah, boy, barely a chance to catch your breath. The pace this game is being played at here as ball being battled for along the ground. I think that was Rathgeb that was involved in the contest there. It's soccered up by the Canadian player. And boy, that's creating a mark out of nothing. Soccer gets some elevation off the ground. You don't see that happen a lot in footy. And it's on now for Team Canada into the forward 50. Nice bounce of the ball. Sharp angle kick goes up, and it is going to go through for a minor score. Canada 0-1, Colombia 0-0 on the Payable app scoreboard. I said, going back to midfield, it's not very often you see a soccering play turn into a mark, elevation, getting the ball off the ground, and it leads to a minor score for the Canadians.
First score of the game, not the one they're looking for, but it does get the scoreboard people something to do here. It's been a really quick pace, which is surprising given the number of games these players have had to play. They're certainly not taking this lightly, and that's a free kick on the tackle. So here we go, kick up the middle. And that's a nice intercept mark by number 19.
Yeah, that was Victor Cinco of the Hamilton Wildcats. He was a late addition to Team Canada. Nice mark there by Robert Inkpen of the Halifax Dockers. Wasn't in the lineup for the first two Canadian games. He's been a fixture since then. He used to play for the Toronto Rebels, then made his way out east. And what a nice mark that was for Team Canada. That was Team Canada's David Cook, perhaps a Payable Apps mark of the tournament. David Cook of the Burnaby Eagles, not to be confused with the one that's a police officer in Newfoundland. He'll kick this ball from just outside the 50-meter arc. He's assessing his options. Might kick for goal square. He's got his foot on the boot, and it's intercepted. Last line of defense holding strong here. We've seen some good work from the Colombian backs in this tournament, David, and they have a defensive 50 kick, and that's going to be executing. The ball goes bouncing along, and that will be on Colombian hands as the sun is in our eyes here in our There Live broadcast location, as they have some photographers out there as well doing a great job at this, sometimes making it tough for us to see the particulars here. But a great day for footy nonetheless, David Smith.
Off hands. Canada trying to get the first major, but cleared out by Colombia to midfield. But that will be, that's dropped. Canada regains control. Bridges kicks towards the wing, and that's a mark by Stokes of the Toronto Rebels. Kicked in the pocket, and a nice running mark there, I believe, by Burke. See if Burke will quick kick, and there's another mark. So a nice succession of marks there by Canada. This is Morgan White of the Quebec Saints. His partner, Gabriel Barreau, plays with the Canada Northern Lights. So lots of couples here at this tournament. Line up, kick a goal. You would think he'd be kicking a goal here. It's up, and away. Looks pretty good, but it trails left. Doesn't get the distance. And it's in the pocket. Kicked by Canada. It's a low one. It bounces. Defended well by Colombia. They clear, but right the bridges of Canada, and that's coming right back. Quick kick into the forward 50 of Canada, and that's a nice mark by David Cook. And let's see if he kicks for goal here. It's, I would say, about 40 meters. David Cook of the Burnaby Eagles. Will he kick for goal? Some players leading for him. Here's a big kick. It's up and away. It doesn't. Oh, it's a goal. No, it's a touch. It is a behind. That will be the second point for Canada. We are 6.5 plus minutes gone here in the first quarter. Canada leads by 2.
Yeah, 0-2-0-0 for Canada on the Payable app scoreboard. Kick had the distance from Cook, but it ended up hitting Colombian hands, so that is why that was a minor score as opposed to a major one. Ball comes up along the right boundary, takes a strange bounce. Boy, that Sharon is unpredictable. If you've never seen it before, you never know what way the football is going to bounce. Here's Ian Euler out there on the attack for Canada. Good work there by Cook, throwing some Shepherds in the scrum, and that contest is going to go to ground. Again, 12:54 left here in the opening quarter. This is a consolation match, a last opportunity for both of these teams, and this is the first time at this stage of the tournament we've seen two teams where one is looking, well, both are looking for their first win. So something's got to break unless we get the improbable draw scenario. And the Canadian player wanted to play back on. The umpire says, not so fast. This ball's coming back to the seat of the crime, so to speak.
That'll be high contact and a free kick to Canada. So Canada should get another forward 50 entry here. Still looking for their first goal, but up by 2 in this game. Nice defensive play there by the Colombian defender. But that's holding the ball. That will be another free kick for Canada. And we'll see if Euler kicks for goal here. Euler does have 2 goals in this tournament. As Canada, as I say, up 2-0 in this game. No majors yet kicked here in this consolation game. We're here on a windy Saturday in Etobicoke, Ontario. And the kick's up and away. Will it reach? It's batted back out in the goal square, but Canada picks it up. We have another crack at this. That handball doesn't go to its intended target. Colombia defending well. They'll kick it high into the midfield in the way of Lehman. That's off of Colombian hands. Here's Alejandro Marin. He does a bit of doopsie-doo. Win a nice handball to Palacios. Gets it forward for Colombia. Colombia with a nice bit of play here. And they're in their forward 50. It's going into the pocket. It's going towards the boundary. There's a tackle. And it will look like that will be a ball up in the Colombian forward 50.
Yeah, as you were saying, David, some nice free-flowing ball movement there for Colombia in the middle of the field. And I think they've accounted very well for themselves in the first 9 minutes of this one. That's why it is just a 2-0 margin in favor of Team Canada. Umpire will fire the ball in the air, and let's see what happens. Ruck contest is going to be won by the Canadian Greg Lehman. Of course, it's tough to contend with that height if you're Colombia, as Lehman's a menace out there. Sharp angle kick, and ball goes skyward and not marked. And you can hear that is a free kick to Canada.
I was talking to Lehman yesterday, and I was looking way up. He's 6'7", if my memory serves, and I'm not.
I resemble that as well. I've interviewed many hockey players on skates. He could just be in his regular shoes, and he's taller than all those guys. Canada moving it through the corridor here as Victor Cinco will push it forward. No clean mark there. So that was some good defensive pressure being played on by Brian Serna. That's why he was a player to watch for us. The Fly was being a defensive menace there, much like the Wasp that's buzzing around David's binoculars at the moment as the ball on the boundary, and that will lead to a tie-up, and the umpire will claim the ball for a contest.
Much bigger fan of the Fly than I am these Wasps. I almost said another word there. But anyway.
He just wanted to tell them to buzz off.
I do want them to buzz off. Hey, there's a handball picked up by Colombia. There's a nice tackle, and that will be a free kick for Canada on holding the ball. That is David Cook again. He's been really a factor here for Canada. One of the highest possession getters so far. And there's that's a nice mark. That is Morgan White. He should be able to kick at goal here. That could be a Payable Apps mark of the tournament. So he's taking his time. Certainly these players have played a lot of football in a short period of time, so I would think they'll take any rest they can. Here's a kick. It looks like it went left and stayed left, and this will be another behind for Canada. Yeah,
Canada could end up ruining their lack of kicking efficiency, but what a mark by Morgan White. And if you were wondering, there was a bit of a wait. Sometimes you'll see if a player's kind of bobbling the ball, there can be a wait as to whether or not the umpire determines it was a mark. It was a good mark in that case, and we're happy for that because that was one for the highlight reels. Ball comes up to Greg Bridges, who can't mark that, but he is able to get it to handball it over to Walker. Canada Looking at that east-west handball, comes across. Canadians on the attack here. Ball goes bouncing. Chris Stokes is after it. Stokes will turn and fire. Kick will go squibbling out towards the goal square. Who wants it? It's going to end up on Colombian hands. There's some Canadian pressure. That's a tackle. He's gone. That's holding the ball. Free kick, Canada. And that is an opportunity inside the 50-meter arc for Morgan White, the veteran for the Quebec Saints for Team Canada. See if he can get that first major score.
Again, White's also been really involved here early into this game. White, the big kick, and that looks like it's through. That could be the first goal of the game. White kicks it as our broadcast position is being blown all over the place, so it makes the kick even more impressive because he had to deal with the wind here, and those of us in the broadcast booths also have to deal with the wind right now.
Yeah, remnants of Hurricane Diane are blowing all around Humber College, and we had talked to me and Peter during the women's game of what an emotional moment it was for Amy Legault, and she had kicked a couple of goals. We look at some of the veteran players here on Team Canada. Morgan White, 42 years old. Boy, just look, he's flying around out there, and he's been great. But you never know with the international calendar. That's always something that's being debated and adjusted. So some of these players could be making their final appearance, and they want to take these special moments and treasure them, and that's a special one there for Morgan White. He has Canada up by a count of 9-0. Correction, it's 1-3-9. No score, Colombia, so Canada up 9-0 here in the first quarter. That's what it reads on the Payable app scoreboard. Play going on. Nice little candy sold there by Trent Loose-Moore. He'll boot it out forward into the forward pocket, and after it again is Morgan White, who just kicked the goal. He's hungry for more, and he's pushed out of bounds. Here as the flags are blowing. The broadcast location is just barely staying in place. Still a fun day for footy as the penultimate day of the Transatlantic Cup.
Canada still in their forward 50 to visit Mississauga, and turns around and kicks. That's well right, but off of hands there, I believe, of Moaning. Big battle there in the pocket, and the umpire will say it's mine. No, it's a free kick given to Colombia, so they'll try to clear it out of the defensive part of the field for them. That's off of hands, picked up by by Colombia. High, long kick. Running, he takes a bounce, keeps going, kicks towards goal. It goes into the hands, and that's a mark, and that will be a kick at goal for Colombia.
What a beautiful run and bounce of the ball by Victor Souza. He gets it to Oscar Marin, and they have been two of the more fun players for Colombia to watch this tournament. What a treat that was. We don't have a Payable Labs run of the tournament, but if we did, I think Javier Souza would have been in contention, and now Marin's got an opportunity to kick this one through. Ball goes up, and it is just a shade offline. But what an exciting possession that was for Colombia. And that changes your Payable app scoreboard now to 1-3-9 Canada, 0-1-1 Colombia. We are off to a flying start. We were talking about the teams having some injury concerns. Boy, they're both throwing caution to the wind. And boy, there's a lot of wind as well. We've had a fun start to this game.
The flags are flying as well here. And so is our broadcast position, but that's a whole other story. Here's a kick by Canada. I believe it was Bridges. That goes off of hands. It's on the far side, on the Lake Ontario side. That will be high contact and a free kick for Colombia. On the Payable app scoreboard, it's 1 goal, 3 behinds, 9 points for Canada, 1 behind, 1 point for Canada and the 1 point for Colombia. Here's the kick towards the line. Off of hands, and that is a mark given for Colombia. So they're getting some play here in the midfield, getting some marks. Here's a low kick along the line, and that bounces over the boundary and will be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, quick start to this game. It is 9-1 Canada. We're just first 15 minutes plus of this quarter just flying by as the ball will go up. And who is going to win this contest here? Rucks in action. Their activated Team Canada will take possession, and it's booted up the left side of the field. As hands all over the ball on the ground, chasing after the contest there is Mickey Burke for Team Canada. He's been very involved as well. Ball comes down the boundary. Again, Canada is kicking it towards Mississauga. Colombia kicking towards Toronto. Ball goes at a play. That'll end up in the umpire's hand. Says it's my ball. There'll be another ruck contest here. Ball will be thrown up here in the final 4 minutes of quarter number 1. And it's tapped by Colombian hands. High bounce of the ball. Comes back to the Colombian side, adorned in yellow today. As ball is up for the taking, it is going to be, I think that was Walker getting a piece of that. Comes back now for Shoebridge. Kicked along the left side, ball's way up, and no one's able to claim it. I think that might have been Ian Euler that's in the contest there for Canada, and then he boots it through the middle of the field. Canadians trying to manufacture an attack here through the corridor. As the ball's still in dispute along the ground, it's bouncing, and the umpire whistles. Looks like that is going to end up being a free kick here for Colombia. May have been a push there.
Good push in the back. Colombia with the ball here in midfield, attempting to get their first goal of this game. Low kick right in the hands of Bridges. He can't take the mark, and that will be a high contact. So he'll get the free kick, and this will relieve the pressure for Canada. Bridges, kick towards the wing. And that's a nice mark, nice running mark there by Burke. Burke of the Edmonton Wombats. Love the Wombats as a footy name. Kick towards the middle. Here is, I believe, Walker. Long kick towards the forward 50, and that's nicely marked. Played on. Here's a kick at goal, and it stays left and will be the 4th behind for Canada and their 10th point.
Yeah, it was Ian Euler of the Halifax Dockers booting it through, as he's been a revelation here on the international scene, but a really fun player to watch. That's just not a East Coast bias speaking there. As Team Canada out in front here, as the ball will come back behind it will be a goal square quick. Goal square kick, pardon me. The vocal cord's getting worn out here. Day 9 of this tournament is kicked along the right side of the boundary. It comes up, and that is going to be intercept marked by O'Day Capella of the Toronto Rebels, veteran of Team Canada. He'll boot it to Euler. Ian Euler has another opportunity here to kick that towards the goal square.
Euler with the kick, and there's another mark. He'll be a quick kick at goal. They like it, and that's Canada's second goal. They go up 2 goals, 4 behind, 16 points to Colombia's 1 behind, 1 point. We're approaching 1 minute remaining here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Team Canada, another major score, 2-4-16, 0-1-1 Colombia, as the Canadian side with their second major. And this is, of course, the final game of the tournament for both of these sides. Both teams looking for their first win, so certainly a lot at stake in that respect. And Canada, by virtue of being a losing semifinalist, a quirk in the tournament scheduling is the teams that lost in the semifinal actually end up playing every other team in the tournament, which is fun for Canada to get this first ever game against Colombia.
Apologies for not being able to see who kicked that. It was deep in the pocket, about as far away as you can get from this broadcast location. Canada picks it up. Here's a kick towards their forward 50 again. They're getting some mojo going in this game. And here's a handball to Rathjeb. And there's a tackle, I believe. No, this will be holding the ball and will be a free kick to Colombia. So they'll be able to clear. And there's the horn. So that's the end of the first quarter. And we end with Canada with 2 goals and 4 behind, 16 points. Colombia 1 behind, 1 point on the Payable app scoreboard. Yeah, fun quarter to watch. Lots of positives, I think, for both teams in that first quarter. Colombia, I thought, got off to a really good start, bringing the pressure, seeing a little bit more good ball movement for them, but ultimately Canada with a dynamic attack. I thought a good quarter of footy, and both of these teams want to finish strong. It really was a fun quarter to watch, and I think you're kind of seeing a little bit of the wear and tear of the full tournament. Both sides have short benches, only 1 or 2 players aside. So I think what you're seeing is a little more room out there, which makes it a little more fun from a spectator point of view, because you're having some free-flowing football, some handballs in succession, some forward 50 entries. So handed to both teams. It's been a long tournament, a lot of games in a short period of time. So really good quarter, I think, by both teams.
Absolutely. Certainly enjoyed watching that. We still have more to come. We are at quarter time after the first 20 minutes. Canada 2-4-16. Colombia 0-1. So it is 16-1 for Canada on the Payable app scoreboard. You are watching the 2024 Transatlantic Cup coming to you live from the campus of Humber College in Etobicoke, Ontario, being streamed exclusively produced by eThere Live. You're watching on YouTube, courtesy of AFL Canada.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
And we're back here on the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario. Colonel Samuel Smith Park as Team Canada leads Colombia 16-1. Just tell us about who was kicking the goals for Team Canada in that first quarter. David Smith.
2 goal kickers for Canada, Morgan White, and with that second goal, we've finally confirmed that it was David Cook from the pocket, which is not an easy view from our broadcast position, but I have been told it's David Cook with the second goal, and Canada leads by 15 as we approach the second quarter in this one.
Not an easy view and not an easy kick for David Cook either. And I think it's fitting that those two were the 2 goal kickers, because to me they were the most omnipresent forwards for Team Canada there in that first quarter. But as we were saying prior to the break, very good quarter of football played here in Toronto.
Absolutely. About ready here to start the second quarter. As we've talked about, a bit more free-flowing football, possibly some fatigue from this long schedule and short benches, which can be fun to watch. So we'll see if that continues here in the second quarter. I believe we have Rosales and Gregory Lehman back in the ruck for Canada, the big Newfoundlander. He plays for the Ottawa Swans from St. John's, Newfoundland. Hello to everybody on the rock. Here we go in the second quarter. Off of Lehman's hands towards the Canadian forward end. Ball on the ground. Who can pick it up? It's picked up by Canada. That was Cinco, I believe, but it goes into Colombia's hands, and Alejandro Marin with the mark. Here's a kick towards his teammate Leon, but he can't pick it up, but they do get possession. Here's number 41, Yarmilo. There's a handball, but that will be determined to be a throw, and that will be a free kick for Canada as the wind again comes up here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park.
Yeah, the great folks at Either Live, who have exclusively produced all the broadcasts, done a great job providing us with this tent accommodation, and ordinarily it has been fantastic, and it's still a great view. However, the tent tarps have been pushing towards us. We'll see if we can thwart them off as the day goes on. Mickey Burke with the ball for Canada. Handball to the right as it's pushed ahead there. It was attempted to be pushed ahead by Victor Cinco. Ball is on the ground in dispute there. Who wants it? Colombia battling as the ball comes off hands, and it's now kicked out, and that is marked by Team Canada. Actually, it wasn't marked. It wasn't long enough to be marked, but it was Mason Schubridge catching the ball as the contest is on here again, as the play is on the side of our Either Live broadcast location. Walker will move it to Lehman, who handball, didn't have an option. Colombia bring numbers to the scrum, and they're able to get the counterattack on through the corridor. Ball comes back, and then it's going to be marked, and a play on, and actually play to advantage. The ball comes back out, dribbling along the left side. Team Canada looking for a possession here that will create some offense. And once again, that is Cook handballing it along the left side, and we get a whistle. Looks like there was a holding violation there against Colombia. Canada free kick.
Canada free kick. Here is Lucas Rathjeb. High kick, and there's a beautiful mark. Wow, that's Walker, I believe. Nope. Didn't see the number.
Sometimes the players like to tease us and not turn around, and it is Walker.
It is Walker. Yeah. Stephen Walker from the Hamilton Wildcats kicks it quickly, and that goes through 4 behind. So that will be Canada's 5th behind with their 2 goals at 17 points. 1 behind, 1 point for Colombia on the Payable Apps scoreboard.
And that Stephen Walker mark could be a contender for the Payable Apps mark of the tournament. As
out of the 15, reset the kick.
Yeah, the umpire says to reset the kick. And again, Either Live staff doing a good job of patching us through to the audio of the umpire. Nice to hear the sounds of the game and the adjudications being delivered there at field level, as this will be a kick in the defensive 50 for Colombia. Ball will be booted up right through the middle. It's going up in the air. Who wants it? It's going to come to Walker again. Boy, he's been tremendous in this game. He'll handball out the back. That's Capelli, who will kick it to the right side. Hands are up. Ball batted out towards the opposite boundary of us. Cinco getting involved in the play here. He'll make a sharp angle kick. That looks like it's going to go through. Is that at a sharp angle? Yes, it is. Beautiful goal for Victor Cinco of the Hamilton Wildcats. Canada moves 3-5-23. No score, 1 behind. Canada in front. Could be another contender for a Payable Apps goal of the tournament. Victor Cinco blasted through the middle sticks.
Absolutely. Canada wish they had some of those kicks earlier on in the tournament, but that was a beautiful kick from the pocket, and that will be their 3rd goal of this game. Certainly, Colombia's had some entries into their forward 50, but haven't had the just haven't been able to do the proper things with it like Canada has. But they have it in their forward 50 here, and there's a nice mark there by. Is that Marine?
I believe it is Alejandro Marine.
Alejandro. He has definitely kicked a goal in 1 goal so far in this tournament. See if he can kick his 2nd. He is the youngest player on Colombia. Tall, lanky individual, but he's been impressive. There's a low kick. That won't make the distance, but it does roll in for their 2nd point of this game. So nice low kick by Marine, just a little bit left, and Canada will clear.
Really exciting to see the play of some of these Colombians who are so new to footy and just seeing such great skills from this emerging side. Jason Nyson with the mark for Canada in the defensive pocket. He's assessing his options. Where's he going to go? He's probably going to try to work the right boundary here, you would think, as Canada looks to break down the field. Nyson will boot it up. The kick goes nice and high, and there's a marking contest there. No clean victor, and the ball will end up on the ground. As hands to ground here. Again, lots of numbers. The ball comes back out, and it's bouncing along the side. As who's going to be able to get it? And, of course, better conditions to pick up the ball today as it goes out of bounds. As, despite the wind, at least we don't have a waterlogged field like we had yesterday.
Not as humid either, so the ball should be a bit drier and should be able to get their hands on it better. We've had a lot of humidity this week, and obviously the torrential rain for part of yesterday, so we've had a bit of everything weather-wise for the summer in Toronto. Here is a kick towards, it's bouncing towards the goal. He tries to handball it, but it doesn't go anywhere. Defending is by Colombia, and That looks like it's going to be a free kick for Canada for kicking in danger. So this will be a kick at goal here. I believe that's Walker. Nope, sorry. That is Ude Kapila. Kapila. You have to think he's kicking at goal here. It is a tight angle.
15 gone.
But it is close. He kicks it. It looks pretty darn good. It looks perfect. It goes in the tree, but it goes through the big sticks. No, sorry. It is a behind. It looked good from here.
Once again, our 6 eyes not doing us any good, David. It looked good to me. I thought that was gone through as well. A tough angle kick, though, for Capilla. It was great work, too, there.
Apparently, I should never be a goal umpire. But anyway, here we go. Canada trying to keep it deep into their forward attacking end, and that will be a free kick for Canada.
Yeah, pushing the back, so the Canadians getting a free kicker. I thought that was good work earlier there by Morgan White. Knew pressure was coming, so he just kind of handballed it to the back, and Capella was able to get that free kick, as it turned out, and he did get a minor score off it. Now Canada will have another opportunity, as that's a veteran, Kyle Graham, 44-year-old of the Quebec Saints. You always wonder, could it be his international swan song? Could he take a special memory from this game? He'll have a boot. That looks not too bad coming off the boot. High kick. It's touched on its way there. The last line of Colombian defense stands tall again, and that will turn that into a minor score, and that will make this a 3-7-25 Canada. No goals and 2 behinds for Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
Absolutely. Their defense, 10 scoring shots for Canada, but a lot of those behinds are because of good defensive effort, good defensive pressure by Colombia. Here is another Canadian free kick. They'll get another forward 50 entry here. It's been in the Toronto end for quite a while here. Canada trying to score their 4th goal of this game. That kick doesn't really go well, but it's bouncing on the ground in the forward pocket for Canada. That it goes, and there's a whistle. So this will be a free kick for the Colombians, and they'll clear out of their defensive end.
Yeah, Colombia with a kick in the defensive pocket. Ball is booted along the left side here, and no mark to be had, but Colombia keeps the attack moving along the boundary on the Lake Ontario side, opposite of our There live broadcast location. As ball right in front of the scoreboard there, it's kicked along the left boundary. Hands are up, clean mark completed by the Colombians as they look to see if they can maybe manufacture their first major score of this contest. The ball up in the air it goes, and hands are up everywhere in the contest. Now it's on the ground. Who's going to be able to pick up the football? And it'll come back, soccered in deeper into the 50-meter square as it comes back out to the hands of Nick Liang. And Canada is going to be awarded a free kick here to see if they can relieve some of the pressure.
Canada is trying to relieve the pressure. Here's a kick down the line, off of hands, and that will go over the boundary line. Will be a boundary throw-in. We have played 9 minutes here in the second quarter. Canada leads by 23 in this consolation game on the Saturday of the AFL Transatlantic Cup. Boundary throw-in. It's off of hands, moaning, gets a hand on it, but Colombia gets the ball briefly, and then it's a high tackle, and will be a free kick to Colombia. Kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca end, and you should visit Mississauga. It is yours to explore. But right now, Colombia trying to explore that end of the field, but Canada clears the ball on the ground. Going after it is Ink Pen. There is a handball that goes over the boundary and will be another boundary throw-in as this game slows to a bit of a crawl at the moment.
Yeah, we were wondering if that might happen as the team's kind of beat up. Benches maybe a little bit shorter, but the Canadians have found a way to patch through for 25 points on the Payable app scoreboard. Colombia with 2 on the scoreboard as the ball will be bouncing along the ground here as it's in dispute. And taken to the ground, I think that was either Nyson or Loosemore that was taken down there as the ball comes up into the air. Where's it going to go? Greg Bridges will take a bat at it. He's always a presence there on the defensive line for Canada. Socket along the ground is not going to go through for a major score. Opportunity here. Sousa takes a kick at it, and that will go through for a behind as they were hoping the bounce would be a little bit more favorable out in front of the goal sticks, but it ends up being a minor score. So 3-7 Canada, 0-4 Colombia. That has us at 25-3
Sousa with an attempted soccer kick, but couldn't get enough of it to get it between the big sticks. Canada gets to the midfield, kicks through the midfield, can't pick it up. Some handballs by Colombia, a lot of players around the ball, and another whistle and a free kick to Colombia for holding the man. So, see what they can manufacture here. There's another whistle, and that ball will come back. So we are less than 9 minutes left here in the second quarter. Canada leads by 23 on the Payable app scoreboard, off of 3 goals and 7 behinds. Colombia with their 3 behinds. Beautiful day here in Toronto. Plays on, kick very low, bouncing. Can they pick it up? On the ground. Here's a kick at goal. It looks pretty good. I think that's a goal. Yeah, that'll be the first goal for Colombia. They're very happy about that. As on the Payable app scoreboard, that has to be the we should have had a sponsor for a celebration of the tournament, because that would have definitely had it.
Victor Sousa, both campaigning for perhaps a Payable apps goal of the tournament and campaigning maybe for a medal in breakdancing in the Olympics. Beautiful goal and a beautiful celebration. Boy, you want to talk about a guy that's just having fun out there. That was just really fun to watch, and it's a major score for Colombia. It turns at 3-7-25, Canada 1-3-9 Colombia, and he has been really strong for Colombia. Small but mighty is Javier Sousa. Pardon me, Javier Sousa, not Victor Sousa. Javier Sousa of the Fitzroy Stars. So he's played some footy down south. He knows what it's all about.
Absolutely nice to see some class in the forward 50. They had a lot of entries, but had trouble getting good kicks at goal. So that was a beauty. Not as much of a beauty as that celebration. So here we go. We're approaching 7 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Picked up by Canada. Here's Oiter. That bounces and defended well by Colombia, but picked up by Canada. Again, Oiter. It is on the ground. The handball doesn't find a target. Here is Burke, kicks it high. They can't mark it. It goes over. It was on the right side of the post. So that will be a boundary throw and deep in the pocket of the Canadian scoring end of the ground.
Of course, that football will be thrown in. Of course, the Australian High Commission to Canada has been sponsoring all the balls used throughout the tournament. They're responsible for advancing Australian interest in Canada. Visit canada.embassy.gov.au. Canada on the march here as the ball will squirt out over the 50-meter line as it comes out towards the middle. Gregory Bridges jumping up a little bit in the play for Canada. He's taken down as it's handballed for Colombia, trying to move up that left boundary. Hands are up, no mark completed by either side, and that will be pushed up by Nyston, the co-captain for Team Canada, providing leadership for them at this tournament. The chain is linked there along the right side, and the ball is spoiled by Colombian hands, and battle for it along the ground here, opposite of our either live broadcast location. Some aggressive tackling there, and
they'll be holding the ball on a free kick to Colombia. So the tackling pressure rising here as we get deep here in the second quarter, maybe inspired by that goal by Sousa. So here's another free kick. This will go to Alejandro Marin.
Yeah, he'll kick it up in towards the forward 50. Ball bouncing on the ground. It's kicked forward as it's on the ground. It's available for who wants it. And it is going to be taken by Colombian hands. And we have a whistle. Canadian player down here as well. And that was actually Team Canada's Mason Schubert. He is going to be okay. I think what happened there, I think Sousa may have been tackled without the ball. I think that's why there's a free kick to Colombia here. And he has an opportunity for another major score.
Absolutely, looking for their second goal. That will certainly close the deficit here. Sousa of the Fitzroy Stars, as you mentioned. That kicks, that's going to be right into the trees. And that will be a behind. So their 10th point, they get to double digits. And they trail Canada by 15 points as we approach 4.5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter.
Yeah, good game of footy going here. Final game for each of these teams. Victor Cinco is after that for Team Canada. Had a handball option in front. He's finally able to use it. Selling a little bit of candy there was Chris Moaning. He'll go at the back, and it's kicked out towards the middle of the field, bouncing. Rob Inkpen's in the contest there, but it's actually won by Corrales of the Bogota Bulldogs for Colombia. Punched out, and the Canadians in possession, at least temporarily. Boy, the yellow jumpers are all over the place here in this second quarter. There's been some good pressure by Colombia. Good numbers in the contest here. Both teams, Capella's after it.
All right, that's my ball.
And you can hear the umpire say, that's my ball. So we'll get a ball up here in the middle of the field. 4:02 left in the second quarter. 3-7 Canada, 25, 1-4-10 Colombia on the Payable Apps scoreboard. Of course, Payable Apps. You should visit payableapps.com, helping sports teams simplify fee collections through their Google add-ons. Payment solutions company that provides various add-ons and allowing payment to be made via credit card inside a Google form or Google Sheets.
Capilla of the Toronto Rebels gets the free kick there for holding the man.
He's kicking.
So looking for the ball. Provided, of course, by the Australian High Commission to Canada. Here we go. It's a high kick. And
Take it over, take it over, take it over.
I believe it's a 50-meter penalty.
Go with him.
So
Number 7,
Canada will get another march down the field here. That's
all
an
right,
easier
Ben.
way, probably over the mark. I didn't actually see the infraction. But Capilla with the ball.
Can I have some, please?
Capilla, say, from the Toronto Rebels. Here's a long, straight kick. And, oh, what a mark there. That's definitely a candidate for Payable Apps mark of the tournament. That's Morgan White, and he's been a beast in this. He gives it off, though, and there's a tackle, and that will be holding the ball and a free kick to Colombia. So they'll be able to clear from their defensive end here.
Yeah, that was Sergio Torres with great pressure on Trent Loosemore, and Canada perhaps admiring their work a little bit too much. They get the ball back, though, and Mickey Burke will send it. Thought that might go through from behind, but it was a mark instead. Better result for Canada. Chance in front. That's kicked through. It is a goal. That is going to be off the boot of Kyle Graham. We talked about the veteran producing a special moment, and it looks like he's got another one waiting for the umpire to see. He's going to wave the 2 sticks. The umpire waves the 2 sticks. Kyle Graham soccers it deep in the forward 50. Kyle Graham, the veteran, has a big goal. Canada 4-7, 31, 1-4-10 Colombia. Team Canada out in front.
Good teamwork goal. Couple of handballs before it goes to Graham. Kicks it short through the sticks. Gets Canada's 4th goal of this game.
Yeah, special one for Kyle Graham. Mentioned that he's a veteran, 44 years old, for Team Canada, oldest player on this men's entry. Plays for the Quebec Saints, played in the International Cups back in 2011 as well as 2017. So we'll see the play resume from center. There's Lehman booting it down, and it is going to be intercept marked by Colombia. More defensive pressure from Colombia today. This has been a pretty good game as these two teams gutting it out here in their 5th game in 9 days. Ball's up in the air. It's pushed along the right side by Greg Bridges. Boy, he's so good for Team Canada. He's Greg Bridges, international veteran. He's played in Australia, playing there now. Came home for this tournament, in fact. Ball comes up. Cinco was trying to get his hands on it for Canada. It's actually going to be won by Robert Inkpen of the Halifax Dockers. He'll boot it along the right side. Couldn't get all he wanted on that kick, though, so it ends up on Colombian hands. It'll be booted in towards that 50-meter arc. It's up in the air. That is going to be a nice mark there by Team Colombia. Backing up opportunity here to create some offenses. He'll back up to assess the options. Colombia on the attack here in the final minute.
This kick should be outside the 50-meter arc. Just outside, long kick towards Marine. That's off his hands. It finds grass. Here's a kick towards goal. I think they like it, but it's only a behind. So that will be their 11th point. 1 goal, 5 behinds, 11 points for Colombia. 4 goals, 7 behinds, 31 points for Canada on the Payable App scoreboard.
Yeah, they might even have Souza having a kick at goal. Certainly a lot of the offense running through him as Canada goes out of the defensive 50. And nicely marked along the side. Going for a bounce is Victor Cinco. He's having a time there on the right side. Kicks it along, and it's going to end up in Canadian hands as that is Loosemore, the co-captain, kicking it forward. There's a heavy boot towards goal. Could that be a favorable bounce for Canada? Bouncing, and it'll go a shade offline. Makes it 4-8-32. And 1-5-11, Canada leads by 21 of the Payable App scoreboard. Unofficial time is correct now as the horn goes. 10 the second quarter, Canadians out in front. But another very entertaining quarter for the final game of the tournament for each of these two teams.
Absolutely. Some free-flowing football at times. Both teams getting some consecutive marks. And it's nice to see. The conditions certainly pretty favorable. Not a lot of humidity. It's clear. The wind would be a factor at times. It seems to to come out of nowhere. It seems to be calm, and then the breeze comes, so that could be a factor. But some good football here in the first half of this consolation game at the AFL 2024 Transatlantic Cup.
Yeah, been good football for sure. We've played 40 minutes. We've got 40 minutes to come. We are at the 2024 Transatlantic Cup at Colonel Samuel Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in Toronto. You're watching all exclusively produced by eThere Live, streaming on YouTube, courtesy of AFL Canada.
Whistle, then you.
Aussie Rules the World podcast is a podcast dedicated to bringing our listeners information from international Aussie rules, from news, reports, reviews, and interviews from people dedicated to building Aussie rules internationally. During the Transatlantic Cup, World Footy Shorts will be bringing you daily updates from what's happened from the games and around the event. And this is Aussie Rules the World podcast.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica is really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible, que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, a mí llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. Aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en este momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Estefania, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
O sea, la idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz. Porque yo vivía mi vida, después del accidente, vivía mi vida, pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and you know, we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
Great news, sports teams. Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Setup is easy. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Players can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more, streamlining the process for them, all while you stay organized with real-time updates. Registrations, uniforms, races, sponsorship, clinics, coaching, training, and classes. Keep it simple with Payable Forms.
And welcome back to the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario, Etobicoke, Ontario, to be more specific, as you are watching Day 9 of the 2024 Transatlantic Cup. Team Canada taking on Team Colombia. We're at the half. Canada 4-8-32, Colombia 1-5-11 on the Payable app scoreboard. David, let's take a look at the goal kickers, of which we have some on both teams now.
Absolutely. Northwind, Kyle Graham, David Cook, Morgan White, and Victor Cinco, all with singles. The Colombian Jaguars with Javier Sousa with a goal, and the best celebration of this whole tournament, no doubt, in my mind. Great job by Sousa, both on the goal and the celebration.
Yeah, we talk about Colombia making their international debut, and anytime you've got a new team, regardless of what sport, what country, it's about forming an identity and how you're going to play. And I think Colombia playing to their spirit, and that little bit of flash, a little bit of dazzle, that's what it's all about. I think that's true to how the Colombians have played, and it's certainly been fun to watch, but a good game to watch as well. Both these teams want to finish strong.
Absolutely, and I would definitely have to say Sousa has more rhythm than either one of us. But anyway,
and more footy skills.
That goes without saying. But they both want to finish strong, and regardless, on the Colombian side, whether they get back into this game on the scoreboard, they just want to continue to learn, continue to get experience at the international footy level. So they're going to want, I think, really to have a good second half here. I would think that Josh Kennedy will put that forth as they are in their halftime huddle.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is the final game on our stream today. Again, thanks to those that either live for the great production they provided us. But if you're in the area, want to drop down, there's going to be another game coming up, a developmental game between Team Canada and Team USA. That's going to be a really interesting mix of players, because you've got guys, maybe they couldn't have committed to the tournament, or they were on the edge of making the roster. Some guys, some of the older players that are having sort of a last hurrah. Then you've got young guys on both countries that are pushing on the doorstep. And even though we might not be streaming them today, we could be at the next time we have a big event like that.
Absolutely, and that experience, we're going to help those young players. So that combination's a really good mix when you're looking at development for those two programs. So really, I'm personally really looking forward to that game. And as I say, beautiful conditions other than a bit of a gusty wind here at Humber College. So that will be here. So come on down and see some more footy.
Yeah, great day to play another game of footy. And there's going to be a women exhibition as well, which will be a bit of a mixed bag in terms of players, but a great chance for players to get out and play a high level of footy. And, of course, big day tomorrow. We have one more consolation game after this. We have the France-Great Britain in men's action. And then, of course, the grand finals, both the women's and men's side. It's Ireland, USA, and those should be two tremendous games. Really looking forward to that. That's all coming up tomorrow, but still some good footy being played here today.
And there is a taco truck, which certainly Peter Holden was very excited about. So he gives us the thumbs up. So thumbs up on the taco truck. I don't know I can't see the name, but
yes, David couldn't wait to tag in from Peter to get on the call with me, and Peter couldn't wait to tag out to go get some tacos.
The most excited I've seen him all week, and I've seen him excited a few times. Wind picks up here as we approach the start of the third quarter. Again, Canada leading by 21. The ball is up. Moaning goes forward for Canada. Picked up by Cinco. Cinco with the handball. Canada with some nice play here in the midfield. Kick towards their forward 50. And there's a nice mark. I believe that's Walker. Here's a kick towards, but that will be right in Colombian hands, and that will be a defensive mark there by Colombia. Here's a kick here just in front of us. That's nicely spoiled by Canada. Handball to Capilla. He's hit by Oscar Marine, and couple Canadian players there a little bit worse for wear, but they'll get up and keep going. Here's a kick towards forward 50, and that's off the defensive hands of Colombia. A lot of players around the ball chasing after his ink pen. Colombia is able to clear briefly. There's a nice tackle by Burke, but Colombia is able to get it out, but there's a mark right at midfield.
Yeah, nice intercept for Canada there. I think that was Victor Cinco, who's done some good work in this game for Canada. He'll kick it right through the middle. Clean mark for the Canadians. I do believe that's Chris Moaning that's got his hand on the football.
Moaning, yeah, and empty all by himself was number 12, Graham, and he gets the mark and will kick it goal.
Yeah, opportunity to get a major score here for Canada. A bit of a sharp angle here. Kyle Graham, we talked about him being a veteran presence. He'd love to blast one right through. He gets a centering kick. That doesn't look too bad. It's going to go out, and it is a nice kick, not for goal, but for mark. Canada's got an opportunity here, and just before we talk about this mark, wanted to note Miguel Franco is being looked at in the tent to our right. It's his left shoulder, so we'll keep our eye on that story, as it is going to be Morgan White, who's been excellent in this game. He'll kick through, and he makes no mistake. Received the mark from his Quebec Saints teammates. The Quebec connection comes through. The kick from Graham, marked by Morgan White. Morgan White with a major score. Canada goes 5-8-38. Colombia 1-5-11 on the Payable app scoreboard.
White becomes the first multiple goal kicker in this game. As you say, Canada leads by 27. We are 2.5 minutes into this third quarter. Canada with some good play here in the third quarter. Both teams wanting to finish strong. We'll have Moaning and I think Zaletta in the ruck here. Moaning's been taking more of the ruck contest than Lehman in this game, which hasn't been the pattern in most games. So maybe getting some different players, some different looks. He certainly had some ruck contests, but has taken the majority of them in this game. So here's a mark for Colombia. They kick towards their forward 50. Their scoring end, picked up, kick towards goal. Will that bounce? It won't bounce the right way for Colombia. It goes through the behind post and the goal post, and will be another behind for Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia making appearances on the scoreboard, though, as that does put them to 1-5-11. Of course, Canada 1-6-12. Canada 5-8-38 as the Canadians with a lead in this contest. As Greg Bridges has had a really fine game for Canada in that back end. He'll kick it up the left side, or right side, left from right, as it is. Jason Nyson will complete the mark, the co-captain for Canada. Looks for Moaning on the boundary. Moaning gets the hands up. He's going to reel that ball in. Moaning now has an opportunity to move this up the right boundary from the defensive pocket. He'll just boot that up. That goes skyward. Will it find Canadian hands? Yes, it will. Mickey Burke with a nice mark. The chain links working here for Canada. Burke will cut to the quarter. That's what we want to do. Work the boundary, work quarter. Now Ian Euler with the mark, and he'll kick it forward. And all alone is that Kyle Graham again. Yes, it is. Plays on. And the veteran Kyle Graham getting it done. If it does end up being a swan song for him, it's going to be a good one. He's got another goal. Team Canada. It's 6-8-44, 1-6-12 Colombia.
Euler with the smart play, gets it right to him. Another goal for Canada. Nice succession of really the most marks right in a row we've seen all tournament for Canada. So they'll be happy with that succession of play, and they'll be happy with the lead as we approach 15 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Yeah, really how you draw it up. You break out of the back, work along the boundary, cut to the middle, find a guy in the goal square, boom, goal for Canada. As the ball comes to Colombian hands off the center clearance following the goal, is Cinco in the contest as well. He's been very involved today, has Victor Cinco, and so has David Cook, who got his foot on the ball. We've got a contest. Don't think there was much in the way of prior opportunity there, so the umpire says, hey, that's going to be my football. I'll throw it up, and we'll get a ruck contest. And as David mentioned earlier, seeing Moaning in the ruck here. This time he doesn't win, though. It's going to be Colombian hands winning that contest. Ball goes to the ground here as pressure coming from Team Canada. Moaning is on it. Ball on the ground now as we've only played about 5.5 minutes here in this third quarter. Still lots of good football to be played as it is kicked towards the boundaries. That was Chris Stokes getting his foot on it. Ball stays in play. It's on Colombian hands and feet. Moving it towards the right side. That's the Lake Ontario side of the field. Ball goes skyward, and it's bouncing. And the ball will come along the right side as the Jets are being turned on here. And the ball turned over. Canada will get a crack at it, it looks like here, as we have 14:06 left in the third quarter. Canada 44-12 on the Payable app scoreboard.
This will be a boundary throw in the forward pocket for Colombia, I believe. Yes. Colombia looking for their second goal in this game. Less than 14 minutes left here in the third quarter. We're up, and there's a whistle quickly, and it looks like this will be a free kick to Colombia. So this will be an opportunity for them. Alejandro Marin with the ball, and this is a 50-meter penalty, so you have to think that this is going to be a goal for Colombia.
There were 3 people there.
Alejandro Marin goes towards goal, and he can kick directly in front with that 50-meter penalty. So Alejandro Marin, the 20-year-old youngest player for Colombia, makes no mistake, and that's Colombia's second goal. And you can't give away those 50-meter penalties. They will bite you in the butt.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened there. And David, you talked about Alejandro Marin being the youngest guy in this Colombian team, and he's really going to have an opportunity to grow with this emerging Colombian program. Could end up, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, could end up being the face of the team going down the road, and certainly has a lot of skills. And he's going to be a fun player to watch and develop. And as I said, he'll get to grow with his country's team, which is pretty cool, pretty unique that we get to have this opportunity. I mentioned before, first time these teams are playing ever. And I know that might not seem like a big story in the grand scheme of things, but we could be looking down the road 20 years and taking a look at what these countries have done internationally, and we could say, hey, we were there the first time they played in their continental clash. Ball is tapped by Colombia off the ruck. Greg Bridges in the contest there for Canada. As I said, he's been very involved in this game. Ian Oyler, boy, he's turning on the jet. He'll boot the ball into the 50-meter arc. A nice mark by David Cook. He's been exceptional for Canada today as well. He'll use the handball option to the streaking Oyler. He boots it going, and that will go offline. And Ian Oyler, we've talked a lot about this in the broadcast. So many players have experience in other sports, and Oyler's an example. That was a goaltender in ice hockey, played at a pretty high level, played lacrosse, and was a quarterback, actually, in high school football. So certainly a good athletic pedigree, and it's been fun watching him here play Australian football the last couple of days.
Keeping the from the defensive pocket, that was a free kick there for Colombia. They get a second one. They can march down the field, down the line. On the Lake Ontario side of the field. The score, Canada 44, Colombia 18 on the Payable app scoreboard. This will be a boundary throw-in at midfield. Here we go, lots of players around the ball. Picked up by Canada. Quick kick. Here is Walker. Now that is held up and will be another ball up here as we're about approaching halfway through this third quarter.
Yeah, indeed we are. So we've seen some good football played here in this third quarter. And again, the flow of this game sort of slowing down here. We talked about these teams being in a bit of battle of attrition here. As I mentioned, the Colombia player, I think it was Torres, his shoulder still being looked at here to our right as the play goes on. And Greg Lehman appealing to the officials here. And again, as we say, you're never going to win that argument, as Alejandro Marin will move the ball down the right side. And Greg Bridges just been everywhere in that back line for Canada. Not able to cleanly mark the ball, though. There he is in a contest. And not sure what the umpire's decision is going to be here. Let's see if we can listen in. That is going to be a Colombian free kick. And is there a penalty being granted here? Looks like there is. Another key 50-meter for Colombia, David.
And this could be a third goal for Colombia. So you don't want to be giving away those 50-meter penalties in your defensive end of your ground, because often they go through the big sticks, which that one does. There's another one for Colombia. And Colombia, with their third goal, 6 behinds, 24 points. 20 points behind Canada with 6 goals, 8 behinds, 44.
And Colombia, looked to me, I think that was Sebastian Naviez with the goal for Colombia. And he was able to cash in there on that free kick. Again, Colombia showing some spunk in this contest. 6-8-44, Canada 3-6-24, Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard.
Canada has to show a little bit composure, though, in their defensive end of the ground. They've given away 2 50-meter penalties that have resulted in 2 goals for Colombia. Certainly not a recipe for success. Ball on the ground. Oiler going after it. It's on the ground, picked up by Colombia. Here's a kick. It's a high one. That goes through the hands of the teammate. And there's a tackle. And that will be a free kick to Canada. Towards us here. Towards number 18, Shoebridge, who gains the mark. Taking his time. 8.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Kick down the line towards Walker. That's off a couple hands. Lehman chases after it. Will it reach the boundary? It does. And that will be a boundary throw in right in front of us here at the Either Live broadcast position.
Game looking larger than life with all these fine athletes looking right in front of us. Greg Lehman did a good job trying to keep that ball in bounds. Wasn't enough, but he's got a chance for redemption on this ruck. And the ball will come to Capella. Now it comes to Colombian hands. Nice handball option at the left side of the field. Again, it's right here on next to our broadcast location. Great pictures from Either Live, the exclusive broadcast partner of the Transatlantic Cup. And a nice kick and a mark. That was Walker centering kick. The arms are up, and look who it is. It's going to be handballed out as there's an opportunity for Cook, and he just sends that off. That was some great work by Kyle Graham, though, and he was able to find the handball option, but it ends up being the minor score for Team Canada. 6-9, 45, 3-6-24. The Canadians out in front.
A little creativity in the forward 50 for Canada, which we haven't seen a lot in this tournament, so it's nice to see them really doing some nice teamwork plays in this game. So good job, Canada. Doesn't kick it towards the big sticks, but let's see if they can keep it into their the right end of the ground for them. Here is Cinco. Cinco handballs it to Capilla off of the hands of Escarvage, and and this will be a free kick to Capilla. So Capilla kick it towards the visitmississauga.ca end of the ground. Here's going up but not taking it was Nyston. Ball on the ground. Players all over, a little of a toe poke, and there's a kick through, and that's another goal for Canada. I believe that was
Kyle Graham again.
Kyle Graham. Graham with his third, and Graham, the 44-year-old, and the certainly the veteran, one of the longest-serving members of this team, kicks his third, and I can definitely respect being one of the older players in a footy team. So great job for Graham. If you want to use a hockey term, kicks the hat trick here in this one.
Indeed. He played semi-pro level soccer with Dulwich Hamlet in England. You could see those soccer skills there. His team won the over 35 Masters at Nationals as a teacher by trade, and he's kind of taking on that role here with Team Canada. And you could see his on-ball awareness, and certainly his teammates are going to learn from the presence that he's had. He's been really fun to watch today for Canada. As the ball back in play here as we're in the third quarter, about 6 minutes to go here on that unofficial score clock. Ball booted up, and that is intercept mark at the 50-meter arc there for Team Canada. And that was actually Morgan White. Who else? He's had a lot of marks today, as the ball will be run along the boundary there by Chris Stokes of the Toronto Rebels, one of a number of players who would play on this field quite frequently in AFL Ontario. And that ball looked like it just went into play, David.
Little bit of kicking up to himself, but he couldn't keep it. The boundary got him, but a little bit of magic there. But this will be a boundary throw-in just in front of the scoreboard there. On the Lake Ontario side of the ground. Moaning again in the ruck. Ball off a bunch of hands here. In there is Cinco, and there's another whistle. And this will be a free kick, I believe, to Colombia. Colombia kicks it down the line and marks it, but this will have to come back. So we are approaching 4.5 minutes left here in this free kick given to Canada. So they'll get a chance to get it down the line. That's off of hands can't pick it up. And there's a tackle, and it'll be a free kick to Canada. So this will be another forward 50 entry for Canada.
Wanted to note as well, Jose Leon of Colombia went to the tent. It looked like he was favoring the upper part of his left leg, so hopefully he's going to be okay. Of course, we were worried about that with this being the final game. Both of these teams have a lot of miles under their legs. I know the old vocal cords for us are getting a workout, so I can only imagine how the players feel at this late stage of the tournament. As that's going to be a free kick for Walker. And a great job. I thought it was going to be a great job leading there by the Canadian Nyson, but it ended up being an intercept mark for Colombia. Ball kicked along the right side. It's up in the air. Where will it land? As the ball bouncing and long and trying to break through and waiting for the umpire's call. He couldn't get the volume up.
Free kick for Colombia here.
Couldn't get the volume patch through, but yes, it is a free kick for Colombia along the right side. Ball comes up, and that is going to be reeled in, and that is Morgan White again. Boy, how many marks does he have in this game? He's been great for the Canadians. He'll kick it along the left side, and that's going to slow the pace down a little bit here for Canada.
I think he's a mark in all three zones or all three areas of the ground as well. Here's a kick towards just outside the 50-meter line here for Canada. They do get an entry. It finds grass. It's picked up by Nyston. Ball here picked up by Vidal, vice captain for Colombia. That's kicked towards Val, but it misses him and goes over into the former location of Lake
Holden.
Yes,
thank you. RAP Lake Holden. It's dried and evaporated up. Thankfully, the real Peter Holden is still here, but the lake holding his name has gone to the wayside here as it is a drier day. We're still patching up the field with some of the splotches that were created by the mess of a weather that we had yesterday, but hopefully have good weather today, the rest of today and tomorrow. Of course, Grand Final Sunday tomorrow. We'll have all that for you here. Produced by eThere Live, and we right now have a free kick to Team Canada. I think that's Eric Escaravage, formerly of the Ottawa Suns, currently playing on the west coast of Canada, the Burnaby Eagles. He'll kick it along the left side as Walker's on the move, trying to punch the ball out. Did he do that in time? I don't know.
And
the held ball sign comes out there from the umpire.
Free kick for Colombia in their defensive pocket.
So this will lead to Colombia, and it's booted up. And that is going to be marked just outside that 50-meter arc. So a successful clearing kick, we can call that for Colombia. Ball comes up past the halfway mark of the field, and we have a contest for it on the ground as Marin. Boy, he's had a lot of the ball for Colombia today. And he was right in the thick of it, but it is going to be a free kick to Canada. Play onto the handball. And the umpire, thought the umpire whistled that, but that's me hearing things as the ball goes right back along towards the middle of the field. That is a nice mark there for Canada as they push towards forward 50 entry here. Switch. Haven't seen a lot of Canada executing that, but there's the switch to the right side. And that will end up being a mark and a subsequent free kick and another free kick here on another mark as that was Moaning. Nice short, one of those 15.1 meter kicks now. Moaning will send it high towards the goal square. And Walker's in the contest. Wasn't cleanly marked, but he did get a possession out of it. Now Euler has it. Sharp angle kick goes bouncing through, and they're saying that's touched along the way. That's a behind. Changes the Payable app scoreboard. 7-10, 52 Canada, 3-6, 24 Colombia.
We're in the last minute here in the third quarter. Colombia will try to clear. It's in the Visit Mississauga end. Visit Mississauga.ca is where you want to go to check out about all the activities in Mississauga. And there's a nice mark there by the Canadian player.
I think that's Cinco.
Cinco. Not much time left here, but he's taking his time. We'll need a mark here to get a kick at goal. Big leap and a big mark. That could be a candidate for the Payable Apps mark of the tournament.
It's Mickey Burke of the Edmonton Wombats. Our favorite team, David.
Indeed, long arms. He get the ball, and he'll kick towards goal. It's up, up, and away. They like it, and they really like it because that's Canada's 8th goal of the game on the Payable App scoreboard. And there's the horn to end the third quarter as they get one really late here on the Payable App scoreboard. Canada 8 goals, 10 behinds, 58 points. To Colombia, 3 goals, 6 behinds, 24 points.
Yeah, Mickey Burke sends that skyward, high, high up with the birds and planes, and that is the final strike of quarter number 4. Canada up 8-10, 58, Colombia 3-6-24 on the Payable app scoreboard. That's what it looks like after 3 quarters of play. An intriguing third quarter, David Smith.
Absolutely play certainly both ends. Canada will be a little bit upset, I think, with the 2 50-meter penalties given in their defensive end of the ground, which resulted in the 2 goals for Colombia in that quarter. But certainly we'll be happy with some of the play in the midfield and the forward 50 entries, and certainly they'll be happy with the lead and the fact they have 8 goals.
Well, Canada comes out of the Premiership quarter with the lead. Heading into this fourth quarter here, you're watching the 2024 Transatlantic Cup from the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario. Streaming exclusively on eThere Live, being broadcast on YouTube courtesy of AFL Canada.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
Play for fun. Play for fitness. Play for glory. Play for community. Play for club. Play for country. Play for each other. Play because you love playing. Play footy. Visit aflcanada.com and find a club near you today.
And we are back here at the 2024 Transatlantic Cup. It is day number 9. It is one of the final consolation matches. Final game for each of these two teams. Team Canada ahead 8-10-58 to 3-6-24 over Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard as we head into the fourth quarter. What are we looking for in this fourth quarter, David Smith?
Well, I think both teams wanting to finish strong, strong fundamentals. Finish, this will be the last quarter for both of these teams in this tournament. And certainly they'll look to put on a good showing here in the fourth quarter.
Indeed, as of course you're wondering why the schedule running a little bit earlier today. There is going to be a developmental game between Canada and the USA. The quote-unquote B-sides, although you're seeing some former stars and future stars of the North Wind and Revolution for sure. And there's going to be some women's action later today as well, featuring stars from AFL Ontario and AFL Quebec. So if you're in the area, you can drop by and watch that action. Won't be streamed, but it'll be happening here on the field as we are going to get ready for the fourth quarter again. Final quarter, and both of these teams looking for their first win of the tournament. Tell us about it, David Smith.
Here's Moaning in the ruck for Canada, and there's a quick whistle. So
Canada ball, give it back, please. Give it back.
This will be a Canada free kick. So Moaning will have it at midfield. Early here in this fourth quarter. Moaning, oh, that's a big boot. Going towards Walker, who just can't make the mark. But there's a whistle. And this will be a ball up in the Canadian forward 50 scoring end. in the Toronto side of the field. Ball gets kicked out by Colombia. That goes high up, and that gets marked by Morgan White. There's something we've said a few times in this game, and he seems to would love to see a map of his marks in this game because I think they've been everywhere.
Yeah, he has been all over the field. We talk about moving the magnets. He's had the opportunity to play in all positions, and he's been contributing in all facets of the game. Ball comes up. It's bouncing low along the ground. Who wants it? Going to be battle for on the ground. Escaravage was in that contest as well. It looked like for Canada. It'll come back out. Capella is battling for it here as the ball on the ground. You hear about pressure. The sidelines barking at their respective teams. It'll be kicked out as into the battle comes Chris Stokes. Stokes has got the ball now. He will kick it. Looks to Mark, and a great spoil there by the Colombian. And not sure which player that was, but was able to prevent Walker from getting it. And the ball will slowly make its way up the sidelines. Also wanted to note, in this fourth quarter, Team Canada in red, kicking towards the Toronto end. Colombia in yellow, they're kicking towards the Visit Mississauga, and you absolutely should visit Mississauga.ca for the hundreds of must-see experience. Plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore.
Handball by Canada. Here's Capilla going sideways. Can they get a mark here? Goes over the head of Lang. Ball on the now picked up by Colombia. They'll try to clear, but there's a tackle. What will it is holding the ball, so this will be a free kick for Canada. They go quickly into the pocket, but into the hands of the Colombian defender, and that will clear it out here at a kick towards the wing. Canada again picks up, so it's a bit of you take it, no you take it in this game. That looks like a trip. What is the umpire's call here?
Waiting to see or hear. Of course, the audio is being patched through occasionally.
It is a free kick to Colombia.
Yeah, and that's going to be Javier Arraez with a free kick for the Colombians. And he'll watches the ball is booted up. Nice long kick there. Got it out of trouble, but doesn't change. Well, it does change possession as Canada will get their hands on it now as Stokes takes possession. Stokes becoming more of a factor as this game goes on. Chris Stokes of the Toronto Rebels had experience playing sports, but footy is his first contact sport. As the ball is in the middle of the field, Colombian feet are afoot trying to get to it, but it is going to be a battle for it.
Hold it.
And you hear holding call. One thing I want to mention, if it's your first time watching Australian football, you hear holding Canada. Australian football, the way the umpires communicate, it's a little bit different because in most sports, if you're watching hockey or football, they'll say the penalty and then they'll give the team the penalty has been given to. In footy, they say holding Canada means it's against Colombia and the Canada has the ball. Ball kicked towards the forward 50. Robert Inkpen is after it. And there's a kick for Victor Cinco. Ball goes up high in the sky, and that's a goal for Canada. Victor Cinco, the 9th goal of the game for Team Canada. 9-10-64, 3-6-24 Colombia. Canada out in front by 40 here early in the third quarter.
Cinco with the nice turn and kick there. Gets it through the sticks. Canada's 9th goal of this game. Inkpen was there as well, causing some havoc. So we're approaching 16 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Canada gets first blood here in the fourth quarter. The wind still whipping around here. Very inconsistent wind. Moaning on the ruck contest, but picked up by Colombia. Kick towards the Visit Mississauga end. The Canada defense holds. That kick, clearing kick, goes to Colombia. Kick towards the sticks. That bounces. Is that still in?
That was a strange bounce of the football.
Wasn't sure if that went over the line, but it can be a lot of weird bounces with the footy ball. So here we go. There's a boundary throw in. Colombia trying to gain control. Hides the players. Alejandro Marin in there. But the umpire says, you guys can't settle it, so I'm going to throw it up. Ball up. Moaning in the ruck with Marin. That's a quick clearing kick and another whistle. A lot of whistles here so far in the fourth. That went off the hand of the Colombian defender, but no 50-meter penalty given there. And this will be Stephen Walker. So kick to the wing. Canada with a mark there. That bounces and picked up, I believe, by Capilla. That's an off hands on the Lake Ontario side. That handball is picked up by Canada. Here's a kick towards the boundary. Picked up, kick towards goal. It's an empty goal square. The ball bounces, and that is another behind for Canada.
Yeah, that was Stephen Walker, whose name we've been saying a lot. Plays for the Hamilton Wildcats, played the Parallel Cup 2022. Is a father of two. Hopefully,
my mistake. That's out of bounds. So no behind on that one. And that's a clearing kick by Colombia. But out, mark there. Canada will get another forward 50 entry. I believe that is. You can see the number there.
Sunny today makes it tough sometimes to make out the players. Opposite problem what we had yesterday.
And there's a nice defensive mark there by Colombia as they clear. Kick towards the line. Picked up. Colombia trying to get something going here. That ball takes a difficult bounce. Capilla's after it for Canada. It's in his hands. It's out of his hands. It's on the ground. Lots of players around the ball. There is a tackle, and I believe the umpire will be a ball up here at midfield.
Yeah, we'll see a ball up with about 13 minutes left. Again, that time is unofficial. Canada ahead 64-24 on the Payable app scoreboard as Victor Cinco will kick it. Goes over the head of Walker. Walker goes chasing after it. Walker trying to pick up the football, but he didn't have the numerical advantage that's going to come to Colombian hands. Handball option executed, ball booted through the middle. And that looked like the Canadian player was trying to come up for a mark, but he got swatted by an arm. And we're going to see if the play gets halted here. Do we have time off? Again, this is a run-time tournament, but the umpires have the discretion to stop the clock if there's an injury, and that was Ode Capella, who he was going for a mark, and he ended up getting swatted by a Colombian arm, and this is going to pick up the intensity here. And a good job there by Morgan White. He kind of sensed that things were heating up, and he just said to the Colombian player, listen, you know, these things happen. Let's just play on, and that's what they're going to do. Capella gets it as a game resumes. Ball will come up in the air as Askarovich was trying to get involved in it. And the ball will come to Colombia for a free kicker. 12:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Canada is up by 40.
Their hold up here as the ball, wrong player with the free kick. So didn't see the number.
It's Navaez that has it for Colombia.
Navaez with the kick towards midfield. Pack of players. A lot of players around the ball here. Players showing a bit of fatigue, I think, after this long tournament. A lot of games in a short period of time. Free kick here given to Colombia. Kick towards the wing. That misses the intended target, but stays in. He drops the ball, and that'll be holding the ball, and a free kick to Canada. Nice job there by number 17, Christopher Savov.
The Quebec Saints of Bulgarian descent. He'll sky that ball, and there was an attempt to mark that on the boundary, and did that stay in bounds? I think it was Kyle Graham that was trying to mark it, and the umpire says no, so it'll be thrown in. Again, reminder, it's the ball that has to be in bounds. Player can actually go out. I don't think that either was the case in that particular sequence, as the ball will be thrown up again. We have about 11 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Again, time is unofficial, as Greg Lehman again in the ruck. He's pulled down, but not before he gets rid of the football. Ian Euler will try to soccer it, and the ball will end up being touched by Colombian hands. That's a minor score. Canada goes to 9-11-65. Colombia 3-6-24 on the Payable app scoreboard. You should visit payableapps.com to get more information about one of our tournament sponsors.
So that one actually goes through for behind. And there is a good mark there by Morgan White. Who else? Not that mark, but only one of them could get it. But they do get the mark. Didn't see the number, but this looks like will be a kick for goal. There are some players with leads. He does have some options. The kick is away. It's towards, looks like it's going, it does go way left. And it bounced and will be a boundary throw in the Canadian forward pocket.
Yep, boundary in, and the Canadians pressing here again. Of course, Canada in red today, Colombia in yellow. Final game for both of these teams. Both teams looking for their first win. They want to end things off on a winning note. Ball will go bouncing off the grass here at Humber College, as that's out the back handball option by Nyston. He was taken to ground. Here's the physicality ramping up here, and the umpires might be calling some late tackles. We have a little bit of a scrum here. One of the Canadian players that's down. I don't think that's nice, and I think that's actually Nick Liang. And these are not pictures we want to be seeing here in the fourth quarter. Similar to some of the testiness we saw in the women's game as well. As didn't expect that out of these two nations in either the men's or women's side. And one of the Colombian players, his jumper is ripped. That won't bode well if he wants to sell it after the game, as I heard some of them were planning on doing.
Well, we don't know if he was going to sell it, but certainly that was the word that they're fundraising by selling some of their jumpers, which has been a big hit here at the tournament. If there was an award for, I believe, most votes would go to the Jaguars. So, free kick here given to Canada. It'll be to Nyston. See if he kicks towards goal. He is, let's say, about 30 meters out. Might be a kick about 35 from where he'll kick it. Taking his time. These players must be tired after 5 games in 9 days. Here, kick is away. They like it, and that's a goal for Canada. They get to double digits in goals. On the Payable app scoreboard, it's Canada 10 goals, 11 behind, 71 points to Colombia 3 goals, 6 behinds, 24 points.
Yeah, major score for Jason Nyston as Canada crosses the 70 mark. Jason Nyston, co-captain for Canada. Calgary Kangaroos is where he plays, and he played in the 2022 Parallel Cup. Also played some basketball at the University of Lethbridge. Certainly those have some transfer skills, and he was raised on a farm, was Jason Nyston. And he comes through with a nice score there for Canada. As it looks like Canada's going to get into the win column here. Still some football to be played, but Canada will be happy to be able to take something from this tournament. We mentioned there's a development game going on. You can see the Northwind reserves are going to be in black today, so look forward to watching that. Us who've been commentating this week, we get a chance to just sit back as fans and take in some of the action. Should be some good football being played there as the ball goes rocketing skyward off of Juan Zabala's leg. Opportunity in the goal scare. The shifty Javier Souza tries to soccer it, comes out in front, and that is booted through for a minor score. Goes 10-11-71 Canada, 3-7-25 Colombia on the Payable app scoreboard. Don't forget to visit payableapps.com. Ball along outside the boundary. Of course, a reminder, following the conclusion of this game, we are going to be handing out the Powerwood Game MVP. Powerwood's donated hand-carved trophies for this tournament. Custom cedar supplies done right. Cedar supplies based in Western Canada. Visit powerwood.com. As the ball is thrown up, as Lehman taps it to Capilla. And we mentioned earlier, Jeffrey Vidal, the vice captain, his jumper was ripped, and he's still out there with a not fully intact jumper. As Team Canada in the defensive 50. There's a lot of pressure there by Colombia. And I think they've earned a holding the ball free kick.
The question is, will that jumper be discounted, or will they add a premium for this? Hey, look at this, is definitely game used. But
we'll let the market dictate itself.
Well, you know, that's a free market system, right? So Colombian will have a free kick here. This is number 13, Santiago Martinez, who plays rugby and volleyball, enjoys swimming and CrossFit. So certainly would be pretty fit. That looks like it's going left, and that's off hands and will be behind for Colombia. They're 8th. On the Payable app scoreboard, it's Canada 10 goals, 11 behind, 71 points to Colombia, 3 goals, 8 behinds, 26 points.
Obviously, Colombia would like a better scoreline, but I think they'll be happy with how much they've been able to get on the score sheet. 11 scoring shots for Colombia is nothing to sneeze at, I think, here for this first-time outfit, as ball is going to be kicked along the right side. Again, we've got a little under 6 minutes to go here in this final game of Day 9 at the Transatlantic Cup. Ball on the ground as the umpire will sort that out. We're talking about Colombia doing some fundraising. I understand the Colombian coffee that they were selling was a big hit. Apologies to any of my friends watching back in Sydney that it didn't land any.
It's a shame to Patrick on that one. Here's a Trent Loosemore with the mark. Taking his time. No rush right now for Canada, which, let's say, after a long tournament, a long game, certainly probably a good idea. Here's Walker with it. He kicks it towards the sticks. That goes right. That's another behind. They're 12th as they go to 72 points. And we approach, well, we're less than 5 minutes left here in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, minor score for Walker. Of course, these two teams I mentioned looking for their first win, both finishing 0-4 prior to today's game in the Vision Glass Toronto standings. Vision Glass Toronto, GTA exotic experts, auto glass, specializing in auto glass, convertible tops, and sunroofs. VisionGlassToronto.com. Ball being kicked towards the forward 50 for Canada, and it's intercepted by Colombia. Defensive 50 mark here for the Colombians. And opportunity to move the ball along the boundary, doing so by hand. And it'll be booted up the left side of the wing here. Hands are up. The play goes right on here, and that will be kicked forward by Team Canada. Hands up again. Nobody able to really get anything going here with any sort of sequence here the last few minutes. Ball booted along the left wing. Turned over to the Canadians. And once again, who wants the football? You know who wants it? It's Chris Stokes that wants it. He's going to mark it. Again, he's getting better as this game goes. He's played racquetball, basketball, and baseball. Footy is first contact sport. He's got a chance for a goal here in this Transatlantic Cup.
Found some space that his teammate found him with the ball. Kick toward, will be kicking towards the Toronto end, seeing if he can get Canada's 11th goal of this game. Here goes Stokes. Here goes the ball. Looks to be right, and sure enough, it's right, and will be another behind and another point for Canada. Not the 6 they're looking for there. As we have 3.5 minutes left here in this fourth quarter, in this consolation game between Colombia and Canada. Canada looks like they will get their first win of the tournament. Colombia now with the ball. Kick towards a pack of players. There's a nice leaping mark by Mason Shoebridge of the Calgary Kangaroos. He kicks it. The ball finds grass off some hands. And ball, but difficult pickup there by Loosemore. And the ball will be held up and will be a ball up by the umpire.
Yeah, ball to be thrown up here in the final 3 minutes. 73-26. Canada is the score. Ball's up. Where's it going to land? It's tapped by Colombian hands. Cinco's after it for Canada. As Cinco taken down. He didn't really have a chance there as he was swarmed by about 3 yellow jumpers. And that will lead to the umpire throwing it up. No prior opportunity there, so we'll get a ball up. Ball comes up in the air. It's tapped. Now Cinco gets it back. He'll kick it through. Ball comes back to Colombian defender. Kicked along the, well, looked like it was going to the right boundary, but it ends up swerving in towards the middle of the field. And after it is the Canadian player White. And he's not able to do anything with it in the short term as a ball going to ground as the game getting muddled up here a little bit. We get some more minor pushing and shoving, and the ball will actually end up going to Team Canada's Ian Euler for a free kick.
Ball was dropped, so Euler with the ball. Been a good user of the ball in this game. Euler, of course, a Halifax Docker. His debut in international footy. Here's a kick. Goes, nice area of the field. Canada can't gain control. Way high up. Is that a mark? Did it go far enough? And I believe they say that, no, it's off hands. And then it's a free kick. Give it, no, it's a ball up. We're approaching, well, we're 90 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Here's a kick by Shoebridge. It goes through for another behind as we're approaching just 1 minute left here in this fourth quarter in the Payable app scoreboard. It's Canada 10 goals, 13 behind, 73 points to Colombia's 3 goals, 8 behind, 26 points.
Canada with the lead here as we're roaring into the final minute of tournament action for all of these teams. It's tournament's been going all week here in Toronto. It feels surreal to see some of these teams wrapping up their schedule, and this will be the end of play for Canada and Colombia as the ball kicked along the right side. Goes up in the air, ball goes bouncing around, and of course these two countries will be the first two to finish up their schedule as Great Britain and France have a men's consolation game tomorrow morning, and then of course the grand finals between both Ireland and the USA. You'll want to watch those tomorrow on YouTube. We'll be streaming great football all day, courtesy of the great folks at eThere Live. Ball is in the middle of the field, comes to Canadian hands here in the final 30 seconds. Put it along the right side, Mickey Burke will kick it along, and it is intercepted. And that was a Colombian player, I think that was Andres Zuluta who had the ball. He'll kick it out towards the middle of the field skyward. That is going to be marked by Team Canada in the dying seconds of the contest.
Within 10 seconds of the horn here. Nice long kick there. Can they get one final mark? They don't. Euler attempts it, and there's the horn to end the Transatlantic Cup for both these teams. Canada wins the game
There's a kick, guys.
here in the consolation. Oh,
We're going to have a kick at the
We're
horn.
gonna have
It
a
looks
kick
like
at the
Ian
horn.
Oiler's got to have a chance to have the final say.
well, let's see if Euler can get a goal here. Be his, I believe, second of the tournament. No, sorry, third. Looking for his third of the tournament. First of this game. Canada will come out with the victory. But we've a chance for 6 more points here. If he can kick it straight, it looks pretty good. It sure does. There's a goal for Ian Euler. As I say, Canada will get another one and end the game on the Payable app scoreboard. It's Canada 11 goals, 14 behinds, 80 points. To Colombia 3 goals, 8 behinds, 26 points.
Yeah, great way to finish the tournament. Ian Euler has showed that youthful exuberance for Team Canada all tournament long. He was a threat on ball, and certainly Canada wanting to finish on a high note. They do. They came into today's game having not picked up a win. They get that win on home soil to wrap up on a good note. And, of course, the Colombians showing great spirit and a good effort in today's game as well. Good 4 quarters of football for both of these sides to finish up a brilliant week of football for those countries. Of course, more to come at the Transatlantic Cup. So, David, an exciting game. Lots for both teams to take out of this one. Again, Canada, I would have to think happy to get that win to finish up on home ground.
Absolutely ends the tournament with a win. Certainly they were disappointed with the results of this tournament. They had high hopes going into it, but they finished strong. And certainly Sean Goodyear would be pretty happy with the performance. They had a short bench in this game. A lot of energy throughout this game, and certainly some good play. Good play by both teams, and certainly Colombia seemed to have gotten better as the tournament gone on, as you would expect. Their debut in international footy. So, we had in an earlier game talking about sponging, and you would hope they would be a sponge and use that to further their program as they go forward in international footy.
Yeah, no question about that. It's going to be really interesting to watch how they progress. It'll be super fun to see them the next time we have one of these international contests, and to be determined as to when that would be. So again, Canada posts an 80-26 victory here over Colombia. One final piece of business here is Canada has wrapped up both the men's and women's competition. Now we have to determine a Powerwood MVP. Powerwood has donated hand-carved trophies for each game. They are custom cedar supplies done right. Cedar supplies based in Western Canada. David, I thought a lot of impressive performances for Team Canada, but who do you think gets the honors here as your Powerwood MVP?
Well, it has to be Kyle Graham, the 44-year-old from the Quebec Saints, a long-time veteran of this team, and what a performance. I mean, an inspiring performance. As someone who's usually one of the oldest players on a footy field, I'm inspired by that performance by Kyle Graham. So he had 3 goals, so the most goals of any of the players in this game, but it was far more than that. He set up a couple of them, certainly was a factor every time the ball was in his area. So congratulations to Kyle Graham. He is the Powerwood MVP of this consolation game.
Yeah, great selection, Kyle Graham. Real treat to watch both him and, of course, Amy Legault earlier here. They've both given so much time to their respective programs, and both of them are playing tremendous. Don't know if it's the last time we'll see them, but certainly happy we saw them today deliver some very good Australian football. That is going to be a wrap on day number 9. David, how excited are you for the grand finals tomorrow?
Absolutely. 2 same countries, the U.S., Ireland, both on the men and women sides of the tournament, and both are majorly intriguing. I think it's a pick-em on both sides, so we're going to have some great footy here on a Sunday, the last day of the tournament for the 2024 AFL Transatlantic Cup.
Yeah, we'll have that for you all here on Either Live, and of course, we'd love to see you down here. Free admission to these games of the taco truck, I've been told, is going to be making its return, much to the delight of Peter Holden tomorrow. That is going to wrap things up on day 9 at the Transatlantic Cup, thanks to the broadcast staff at Either Live, the exclusive broadcast partner here. You have been watching the 2024 Transatlantic Cup from the campus of Humber College here in Toronto, Ontario, streaming broadcast exclusively produced by eThere Live, streaming on YouTube, courtesy of AFL Canada. Good afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.